The most interesting question is about speaking. So what did you do to get aid on speaking?
It's very helpful for speaking as well, because when you start thinking in English, when you are surrounded by information only in English, you start to think in English, you start to speak.
How long did it take to get this outstanding result?
She's my accountability partner, work partner, she's my mentor, she's like all in one. I just talked about everything, I just talked about my opinion, I talked about what I think. His books and works are well known all around the world. He's a globe-trotting person. He's invited to lots of conferences around the world. He doesn't have a lot of time even now.
That means if you have even Indian accent, you can get 9. Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool.
Actually, when I first took my mock IELTS, I was approximately upper intermediate. And, everything is right. You should just follow it. You should just follow everything. This is the only way.
How did you get 8.5?
Try to fulfill hopes of your parents and teachers. And I hope that I fulfilled hopes of my teachers, and if I did, I'm very happy, and I really tried my best to fulfill their hopes.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today we have a legendary guest who has recently got the band score of 8 on IELTS, and more importantly, she is only 15 years old and she's a schoolgirl, and her achievement is exceptional because not everyone is able to get 8 at the age of 15. So now I'll try to ask a lot of questions that might be extremely useful for everyone, for students who are preparing for the IELTS exam or for students who are just learning English. So now you can tell me about yourself. So what do you do, or do you study?
My name is Aydariya Djusupova and I study at school number 107. And I really like learning languages.
Okay, my first question is, how long did it take to get this outstanding result?
I've been studying English for 2 years approximately, and when I started in February 2020, it was quarantine since March, and I started learning English on my own. So for 4 months, I had been learning it on my own with different books, but then starting from the summer, from June, I started taking some courses, and it was international course. It was online, and in 7 months I finished the program, pre-intermediate, upper intermediate, and intermediate. So and then I joined some IELTS courses.
Okay, cool. So that means, first of all, you learned on your own, yeah? Okay, so was it difficult?
No, it wasn't, because I was very self-disciplined and motivated at that time, and I was very keen to be able to speak English and to be able to understand spoken English. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So during your preparation, how many hours did you spend every day?
When it comes to IELTS, I studied intensively for approximately 2.5 months, and at that time I would study for 7 hours a day, roughly, and it is just a number of hours which I spent intensively studying. Besides that, I also listened to lots of podcasts and series, watched some episodes when I was free, and I never wasted my time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. 7 hours every day. Wow, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so before attending IELTS courses, so what was your general English level?
It was strong upper intermediate. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so sometimes I see students whose level is around elementary or pre-intermediate, and they want to start their IELTS course, and I don't recommend them to start IELTS course
Actually, when I first took my mock IELTS, I was approximately upper intermediate, and it was 6. But I didn't know the strategies. I just went and took it. And I would really highly recommend to do this way. I mean, I see lots of people start to take these mocks and start to learn IELTS. Starting from their intermediate, but this is not the case. This is not right, because IELTS is a test which checks English level. Yeah.
Okay, so the most interesting question is about speaking. So what did you do to get 8 on speaking?
I just, there are some strategies which I'll talk about. So the first one is immersion. Like, a person should be totally immersed into English language, and it's very helpful for speaking as well, because when you start thinking in English, when you are surrounded by information only in English, you start to think in English, you start to speak in English, and it is done just out of habit. It is just an automatic action, that's why this is kind of the first strategy. And the second one is to, of course, improve your fluency, pronunciation, grammar and vocabulary, which are tested on the exam. And also one should be able to, improvise while answering the questions. For instance, it would take a long time for me to answer part 3 questions, and I really hate them, because examiners make them really hard sometimes. But the most important, aspect is to be able to answer them without hesitations, like instantly. You can still take some time to think, maybe to think about ideas, but this time shouldn't be spent too much on vocabulary, on thinking about ideas.
Most students in speaking exam, they feel hesitation. For example, in my case, I also felt a sense of hesitation and I was shy. So what do you recommend?
I don't know. I was not shy at all with my examiner, because just mental preparation is also very important. I would say it is of utmost importance, actually, because just before your exam, I would advise those who are taking the exam just to think about why you're taking it, think about your goals, think about your aims, and just prepare mentally very well. And then try to do your best on the exam. But don't imagine, just some people envision that their IELTS speaking, like the real exam, is going to be really the perfect one. Like, they're going to use all the vocabulary they learned, they're going to use all the grammar structures, but they don't practice it. Actually, a real test is something that is, that is like everyday speaking test that you take. That's why I would advise to practice more. And practice those words and grammatical structures which you learn just before the exam, but not to kind of envision that this is going to be the best and the most perfect one.
Yeah. That's the point. If you want to show off your true English level, so you shouldn't be shy and you shouldn't worry. So speaking fluently is not easy, and it takes a lot of time, commitment of time, and a lot of effort. So students should speak fluently, and to improve speaking, they must have a range of vocabulary. And so what did you do to improve your active vocabulary?
I actually really like learning vocabulary, and especially using it, because it seems really fun, and it seems challenging to kind of learn new vocabulary and then try to use it in their speech, and it should be actually in appropriate context. And this is the most interesting part. The vocabulary should be, these words should be located in appropriate context, and it takes a lot of time to distinguish it. And I like challenging things. That's why I really like learning vocabulary and then using it. And I would highly recommend watching lots of videos on YouTube, like mock speaking exams. And actually, I watched tons of them, because I wanted to familiarize myself with the format, with how an examiner assesses the speaking performance. So and also I would highly recommend to watch Keep Speaking Academy. Actually, it is called Speaking Success Academy on YouTube. And his videos helped me a lot as well. And and also I think you shouldn't be shy if there is a mistake of yours, like when talking to someone, because this is really normal, and you can actually improve if someone corrects your mistake.
Okay, and once one of our teachers said during speaking you should forget everything. For example, you should forget grammar and everything, and then you can speak fluently.
Maybe, but I never focus on my grammar. I never focus on my vocabulary. I just spoke. For instance, on my exam, I just entered and I spoke, and I didn't notice how 15 minutes went fast. And I kind of sometimes I try to use some words, but they were kind of most of the time
naturally.
They would occur to me naturally.
Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Okay, so how did you learn new words while reading books or watching movies?
While reading books, I would highlight all the words that I would find useful, and then I would make some modules on Quizlet and then learn them while I'm in public transport.
This is application?
This is
Quizlet.
an application, Quizlet, and there are lots of them. Like there is Anki, there is flashcards. But then I just didn't have time to make those modules because it is quite a large time commitment. And then I started keeping some notebooks for vocabulary. And this is what Bekzod taught us. He said that we should kind of make it a fun process, kind of highlight all the words and try to kind of brush up on them every time we can do this.
Actually, there are a lot of ways to remember new words. For example, I also tried several ways, but I think the most useful way for me was making new sentence for them.
And I actually tried to make not even sentences, but very large stories using these very words.
Okay.
Just because when you make a story, this very word becomes it is just very hard not to memorize this word. I mean,
great. Okay, so one of our subscribers asked that did you only live in Uzbekistan or any other country before?
No, I was born and raised in Tashkent, and I never lived anywhere else.
Okay, the next question is about listening. So I guess your listening score is 8.5?
No, it's 8.
8, okay. So how did you improve your listening?
Whenever I walked, whenever I was doing some chores, whenever I had the opportunity to put on my headphones and listen to podcasts, I did that. And this is really important, not only for listening, for general English as well. And then I watched lots of episodes. I watched Young Sheldon, all the 5 seasons, I think. But on the exam, I really screwed up in part 3 because, and this is my mistake, and I want to prevent some people from making it like me. So, it was a mistake that I didn't read the instruction very carefully. So the question said something like, "What is the most important feature of these devices?" But I missed the word "most important." I just, I thought it was just a feature and that's it. So, but actually Timuraka told me, like before my exam, I asked everything. He told me to read the instructions very carefully, but at that time I forgot. And that's why I missed 3 or 4 questions in part 3 because of this mistake. But using some logic and common sense, I just sometimes they're like in the first or second question I just memorized, I could recall. So this way I answered.
Okay, so that means you could have gotten 9, yeah?
Might be.
Okay, cool. So another question that's related to listening is about focus and concentration. If you don't focus on listening, you can easily miss a lot of questions. So what do you suggest to maintain focus?
In order to maintain in order to be concentrated for long periods of time, like 30 minutes in listening, I would highly recommend to be mentally prepared. Just before taking the exam, you should listen to something for approximately 10-15 minutes at least.
In English?
Yes, in English, and try to be as focused as possible. When watching this video, this is what our teacher Timuraka taught us to do, and then we. In order to be focused as well, you should forget about everything. In order to do that, maybe meditation might help, or sitting and not thinking about anything, only taking some deep breath. And there are some techniques, meditating techniques, that can help. Actually, when I do this, before taking something, before taking mock listening or reading, I tended to get a much higher score. That's why it's very important not to think about anything, and just realize that the importance of this test. This is kind of some people spend so much time preparing, and then this is the only test that's gonna solve everything. That's why preparing mentally and then not screwing up is very important.
Okay. Guys, remember this, in the IELTS exam, forget his, her, them.
Yeah.
This is what Timuraka said. Okay, so next question is related to reading. So your reading score is just awesome because 8.5, yeah? A lot of students may struggle with reading because to get high score on reading, they need to have strong English level. And once Bekzod said that reading can reveal students' true English level. So how did you get 8.5?
I worked very hard on my reading. And I also really liked reading section. When some people ask me what is your favorite section, I say reading, but they just they think that it is strange because reading is complicated. But I like challenging things, and I like working with questions. I like when resolving, just realizing that this is my mistake and kind of making it right. Yeah.
To solve 3 passages in only 60 minutes, it's somewhat difficult. So how did you manage your time?
At first, when I was preparing, especially, I had lots of problems with time management in reading. So I would spend kind of 15 minutes on passage 1, and then more than 20 minutes, like 23 or 24 minutes on passage 2, and then I would procrastinate a little while taking the test, right? Taking the mock test, and then start reading passage 3, and I would not manage to answer kind of last 3-4 questions, and then I just and then we like approximately 2 weeks before my exam, we met with Mahfouza, and she like taught me how to do listening, reading in the right way. Okay. Because I was, you know, I used to do everything like in a very wrong way. I mean, I would read the passage not one time but several times because I would lose focus, concentration. And then she said that having this one, like being focused and concentrated, is really important, and that's why she taught me the right strategy, like that I should read everything only one time with this intonation, being very interested in it. So on the exam I spent kind of 12 minutes on passage 1, then I spent 20 minutes on passage 2 and 25 on passage 3, and then I had approximately 3 minutes to kind of check the answers, transfer them. Yeah, and I would also recommend to transfer the answers after each passage.
Okay, so our next question is about nothing. Boshqa ko'p savollar bor. Sizda qanaqa savollar bor? Bir qiziqarli savollar bormi? On speaking, there are 4 criteria, which are fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Okay, so my first question is about fluency. So how can I improve my fluency? Sometimes when I start speaking, it might be difficult to speak fluently.
Well, in order to improve fluency, let's say, and coherence, I would suggest to speak in English as much as possible without thinking about vocabulary and grammar, because vocabulary and grammar are, you know, criteria that should be like automatic when talking, and also, yeah, and in order to work on fluency, you should be able to, you know, talk about anything without really thinking much about it. And if you think that, you know, an examiner assesses you like for the structure of your answer, or like I thought for my ideas, and now it's not the case. Like I just talked about everything. Like I just talked about my opinion. I talked about what I think. And I had quite a difficult topic in part 2 and part 3. Like it was about companies and services. I mean, I don't know much about it, like about how they should operate, where they should operate, what kinds of things they should do for their staff in order to make their customers satisfied. Actually, I don't know anything, but I just used common sense and logic and just answered. Yeah, so, and to work on fluency, also you should be very immersed in English. Like you should be only thinking in English, because when you think in English, it becomes very easy to like to speak kind of fluently. Yeah, and also fluently doesn't mean fast. It just means just talking in a like normal way, not too fast, not too slow. And then, in order to improve coherence, it's like, you know, cohesive devices such as, most importantly, first of all, or I would also suggest to kind of work on them. I mean, for instance, I learned some from Keith Speaking Academy videos. These were, you know, I would hazard a guess that in such cohesive devices. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so how can I improve my pronunciation? And also a lot of students, they don't know difference between pronunciation and accent.
Well, the difference is that accent is not assessed. I mean, if you have an Indian accent, which is not really,
Clear.
clear for some people, and it doesn't mean that you can't get a high score. Or some people think that speaking is only about speaking with a super American accent very fast, but this is not the case. Speaking is about speaking clearly with right pronunciation, some words which are quite fancy and advanced, and then and they should be appropriate in context. Yeah. Then let's say also like pronunciation is about pronouncing the word in the right way. I mean, for instance, instead of like it might be word stress, and it might be like the way you pronounce letters. So and that's why I would highly recommend to download some applications like Oxford Dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary, which have these features of of audios of every single word, and and to listen as much as possible. And while listening, try to do shadowing. And this is actually what I practice a lot. I mean, my shadowing.
Okay, so that means if you have even Indian accent, you can get 9. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool.
In order to
Okay, our next question is about reading, and there are students, for example, their reading level is around 6 and 6.5, and how can they improve their reading to 9?
In order to improve reading, like a reading score, you should be focusing on reading skills. So in order to improve reading skills, you should read a lot. Like for instance, I read one article a day, but sometimes like I missed it, and so like it should be read 5 times in the right way. I mean, for instance, for the first time, like just simple reading, and then the second time it should be read learning new words. Then the third time it should be read kind of revising everything, and each time just make a strategy for yourself that each time you focus on something. For instance, in the first time, you should focus on, for instance, on the idea, on the summary, let's say. And in the second, while reading it for the second time, focusing on vocabulary, on grammatical structures, and etc. Yeah, and this is about articles, and then like working on the reading strategy itself. So, for instance, while working with the mock tests, mock reading tests, you should kind of practice your ability to kind of be very focused while reading, and and managing your time.
Okay, cool. So you read 5 times. Okay, cool. So you read one article 5 times.
Yeah, this is the strategy that our teacher Timur taught us. Like he has a video which is really famous on Telegram.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I use this strategy. Yeah.
Wow, cool. That's great. As I mentioned before, your score, your result is exceptional and outstanding. And I believe behind this result there is a teacher, or there are a lot of teachers. So can you tell me about your teachers?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, I like to also mention my general English teachers. yeah, and if one of my teachers who taught me like in study centers, thank you a lot. And I was really lucky, and I'm still lucky, very lucky to get to study in really great groups with great teachers. So, and also I'm very grateful to my teachers here in IELTS Zone, Bekzod Mirahmedov. And I studied in when I studied in Bekzod's group, like it was a standard group, and in the very first lesson he taught us to, you know, the reading strategy, which is like when there are true, false, not given questions, the first three questions are like, first there should be a proportion that one is true, second is false, third is not given, like in a random order, but there should be one like false, one true, one not given. And he said that it is in 99% cases like this. And actually this very strategy prevented me from making a mistake in listening in passage one, because I was not, you know, I was not very careful when reading the answer to the second question, and there was a grammatical structure that is, you know, quite hard to understand. And then after reading it one more time, I actually understood it like more, and then I got my question right, my answer right. So then Timur Aka, I'm very grateful to him as well. Like he would, you know, I studied in his groups for more than 2 months, and even approximately 3 months, and he would, especially in like an intensive group, which lasted for more than a month, he kind of, you know, it was 4 times a week, and instead of like teaching us for 3 hours, which is kind of the set time, he would like teach us for much longer. And, you know, thanks a lot to him for the energy, for his time commitment, energy commitment, like everything. He is very hardworking. I really admire his, you know, his ability to be patient, to be hardworking. And then his methods and instructions are really valuable. And you know, everything is right. You should just follow it. You should just follow everything. That this is the only way. Like, Then and I'm very grateful to my teachers.
Okay, great. And Anaka, piece of it.
Mahfuzani ham что-то qo'shib qo'yishim kerak.
Qo'shing.
And also, I'm very thankful to Mahfuz as well. She's really my incredible friend, and she is my accountability partner, work partner. She's my mentor. She's like all in one. And thanks a lot to you, Mahfouza, for helping me a lot, like especially with speaking and reading. Like, you helped me with every single section a lot, and I'm very grateful to you as well.
Okay. Great. So now, can you please give a piece of advice or some motivation for our students?
Yes. So, you know, when it comes to motivation, my role model for me is my grandfather. He is, you know, he's a really great person. Like, he's very well-rounded, and he is, you know, a well-known linguist in his field. So, and he's really famous around the world. So I would always kind of be like him. Since my childhood, I would also like I would always wanted to be like him.
Who is your grandfather?
He is a linguist, like a linguist at university. He's a professor, and his books and works are well known all around the world. He's a globe-trotting person. He's invited to lots of conferences around the world. You know, he doesn't have a lot of time even now, even though he is he is, you know, a senior. He's really invited to lots of, you know, conferences all around the world, and I really admire him.
Wow.
So this is my first role model. He's my really first model, and also I would also recommend you to have such person, like to be like this person, and also like try to fulfill hopes of your parents and teachers, and I hope that I fulfilled hopes of my teachers. And if I did, I'm very happy. And I really tried my best to fulfill their hopes. Yeah, and also in when it comes to parents, it was like, you know, first priority for me to fulfill their hopes, because their belief is something really incredible. They are, yeah, so, and then also think about kind of, if you are wasting your time or procrastinating, think about like the outcome of it. Just don't let laziness, don't let like procrastination ruin your life, ruin something in your life, right? So ruin opportunities. I mean, just try your best to do as much as possible in order to be really great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, and thank you so much, and I appreciate your time, and your advice were very valuable, and I hope this video will be extremely beneficial for everyone. Thank you, and wish you all the best, and wish you good luck to your studies and to your work.
Thanks a lot, and thanks to all those who watched this video till the end. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. So bye bye.